Hi everyone. I decided that I would talk a minute about the fence around my garden. I did a video just like an hour ago about some of the plants in the garden this year. And I thought, wait a minute, before I leave, because it stopped sprinkling, I'm going to just take a minute to talk about the fence, which is an electric fence. So we have deer and rabbits that love to eat my lettuce. They always target the lettuce. I don't know why. The kale and the Swiss chard are usually left until like fall when stuff is dying. But the lettuce, they love it. And I found that if I use an electric fence to keep everything out of my garden, it's great. So when you set these up, you have to make sure that you put one of these on, especially if you live in the country like I do and you have a forest nearby where people will think, oh, I can just hop across your yard. We do not want people to electrocute themselves. So the electric fence sign is very important. Now, people will be like, oh, this is so scary. I don't want to electrocute myself. But the setup is really cool. So this is our solar panel. It is really small. I can touch the solar panel with no issues. It's not the part that's electrocuting anything at the moment. It is the wire with that clip that connects to the fence that causes the electrocution. But the solar panel is really cool. It does have the generator inside for the electric fence, but it's really easy. You just kind of hold the button until it turns red, and then you can come over here and unlatch this little clip, which always ends up getting spiders and earwigs inside of it. So if you're not a fan of that, keep that in mind. And then I just like to set it on our grounding rod. These grounding rods are neat because they have this nice little foot here so that you can use that to stick it in the ground. You can like lean on it with your foot. And then this here is really nice because if you have the type of electric fence where it's just wire, you can just kind of loop the wire through and it will just kind of hold it in there. And then you can unloop it when you're done for the season to put it away. It has this little knob there's a groove in there, and then the knob just kind of sandwiches it all together to keep it on your grounding rod. And then because we now have unlatched our wire from the fence, I can touch the fence. I'm not electrocuting myself at all at the moment. But then we have this here. You're not putting it on enough to like really close it in there. You're just putting it on enough that it's holding on. And that is the connection to make sure that the fence works all the way around. And I like to kind of wind it around the poles just to make sure it gets held together. Otherwise, the poles tend to like to lean off to one side, and then you have a giant gap. And it's, I would say it's about 4 feet tall. This is actually poultry fencing. It's kind of a smaller hole than sheep fencing or cattle fencing. But when you're trying to keep things like rabbits out, because the rabbits, especially down here, the rabbits can't really get their bodies through this unless they're really little. It's going to keep them out for you. And of course, if the deer in the springtime have their babies, they're not going to be jumping over this. In the fall, when everything's bigger, you might have more of an issue, but also it depends on how often you go out. If the deer realize that you're going out very often, then they're going to avoid trying to jump over the fence. So I'm just going to put this back on, which, I should show you. The poles themselves have the same kind of shape where they have the pole spike in the back, and then we have the brace here with an extra little bit of a spike so that you can use your foot to really get it in the ground. But then you can kind of take the pole out, open it up, go in and out as needed, and then put the pole back and tie it up real quick. Attach your little clip, and then you're going to push and hold the button until it is green, and then that little blinking green light means it's working. when you first put it out, that little solar panel is going to need like 24 hours of light or sunlight in order to be able to start electrocuting things, because over the winter, if you put it away in a dark spot, yeah, it is going to have a little bit of an issue with running the battery low. But I really enjoy it. I can set it up all by myself because all of the posts are step in, like I showed you. The only real issue is when you're trying to wind it up and unwind it and move it around. It is kind of bulky. But I, as a smaller person, appreciate being able to set something up all by myself so that I can keep my plants safe from the deer and the rabbits. I hope this helps you out, give some people an idea if they don't want to put in a permanent fence, which have to be 7 or 8 foot tall so the deer cannot jump over it. And then, of course, you have rabbits that like to dig underneath. But being able to put it away every winter and then take it back out, it's a really nice option, especially considering that this is in the middle of the country and there's really not electricity way out here. Electricity is way back in the woods. So I hope that this is inspirational to people and maybe it gives them an idea of how they can protect their garden. Have a good day and have a great summer.